Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is our visit to DisneySea. Now this is my first time going to a Disney park. It's not Ben's, he's been to Florida before. Starting off when we got to the Disney resort, we got the monorail around to our hotel and I love the decorations in the monorail with all the Mickey symbolism. We stayed at the Hilton Tokyo Bay because it was close by and we wanted to stay near the parks so we could explore a bit more. The Hilton was also next to the Toy Story Hotel. Now, before we left Australia, we heard that you could actually go into the Toy Story Hotel, but this changed on March 30th, 2023, and now you have to be a guest to go into the Toy Story Hotel. We stayed in the King Celebro Ocean Room, which had an absolutely amazing view over Tokyo Bay. Whilst the room is a little bit dated, everything was very clean. After we'd checked into our room, we went and checked out Escapiari, which is the massive shopping area around the Disney resort, and then we also checked out Bon Voyage. Much like our USJ trip, we used Klook to book our tickets because it was so much easier and we don't have a Japanese credit card, so we couldn't book online. So Klook is so much easier if you are outside of Japan, and it was quick, simple, and there was no problems using the tickets at the gate. We got to DisneySea before opening time and lined up. We should have really used this time to make a game plan, I guess. Even though, like I did for USJ, I watched a lot of TDR Explorer, so Chris's videos, to figure out what food was there and what rides were there. I didn't have a game plan like we did for USJ. We were just going to play the day by ear. This was probably not the best plan to have, but you know, you do you. Once the gates opened, we made our way through and just sort of followed the crowd, and at this time of the day, most of the crowd were going to Soaring Fantastic Flight. We actually went to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and got straight on, which was amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was just a fun ride, and this sort of set the precedent for most of the day as well, in that if the line was short or if there was a single rider line, jump on. Next we went to Mermaid Lagoon. We didn't spend a lot of time here because we thought it was more for smaller children. We did stop and see the steamer go by, which we would ride later on in the day, which was absolutely amazing for getting around the park without walking. But all the bronze statues and the decorations for Mermaid Lagoon looked amazing. Triton's Kingdom looked very cool, but again, it looked very, very much for small children. So we didn't go in there and spend too much time there. Next we headed to Arabian Coast. Now this area was quite quiet, even though it was maybe 9:30 in the morning, it was still very, very quiet. Now, we were at DisneySea on a weekday, so maybe we thought it was quiet because of that, but later on in the day it did become quite busy. But even then, this area seemed a lot quieter than every other area that we went to during the day. We managed to walk right on to Sinbad's Storybook Voyage. Yes, it was all in Japanese. Did I care? No. Is there a language barrier? Not really. The puppeteering and the animatronics tell the whole story. You don't need a lick of Japanese to understand what's going on. All the animatronics were gorgeous. Everything's amazing. You will love it. Just go on it. It is so sweet and adorable, and you will probably find it to be one of your favourite things at DisneySea. Next, we headed around to Lost River Delta. The main ride around here was Indiana Jones Adventure, Temple of the Crystal Skull, and the theming around it was very much themed around that ride. We managed to get on relatively quickly thanks to the single rider line, but I didn't enjoy this ride. It was very jerky and yeah, it just wasn't for me. But my squealing did amuse the Japanese teenagers that were in my row of the ride. Next, we headed around to Port Discovery. We went on 2 rides here. We went on Nemo and Friends Sea Rider, which was pretty cool. We waited about 40 minutes here, and up until the last ride that we went on for the day, which we'll talk about a bit later, this was the longest we waited for a ride. The other ride we went on in Port Discovery was Aquatopia, which is the steampunk-like hovercrafts that are on a track, and yeah, they're really cool. They're very fun. I enjoyed the water aspect, and they're a bit of a different novelty that you don't see anywhere else. The one thing I wasn't prepared for at Tokyo DisneySea was the absolute prevalence of Duffy and Friends. Duffy is this stuffed bear, and now there's like 6 friends that you can have as plushies, and you can dress up the plushies, and they have like special shops around the theme park. And I believe there's also more in the, like, this is not special to like DisneySea. I think it's also at Tokyo Disney and Shanghai and maybe Hong Kong as well. So it was just one of those cool variations that you see between the parks. I didn't buy any of the plushies. They were adorable. I was very tempted, especially by the turtle, but I could not justify about $40 on a plush and then another $40 on an outfit for a plush. We headed around to Toyville Trolley Park, which is part of the American Waterfront, and had a look around. At this stage, Toy Story Mania had a 90-minute line ride, so we were just going to wait out and see if that got shorter during the day before going on it, or considering buying Express Pass. We'll talk about that again a little bit later. We were there for the Mr. Potato Head animatronic show, so that was pretty cool. Again, this was all in Japanese, but it was pretty easy to follow on and see what he was wanting you to do. We then hopped on the electric railway to get back around to Port Discovery. Now, I understand that this is currently suspended. This was filmed in April 2023. I am a little bit slack, but we've had other content to get out, as well as life in the way, so we wandered around and explored the park a bit more, and then realised we really hadn't eaten a lot that day, and I wanted to try the Little Green Men, Alien Men mochi, and found out that these were back at near the Indiana Jones ride, so we ended up getting on the steamer line. It was a really nice leisurely cruise around the park, and it was just an enjoyable ride, especially when your feet are sore mid-afternoon. I think that was one thing that I found quite different to USJ, is that it was hard to find vending machines around DisneySea. I don't know if it was just that we didn't see them, or if because of the building works for the new area it was sort of like compounding the issue. But yeah, we didn't find a lot of them. The custard mochi or ice cream mochi was absolutely amazing. I could have eaten 400 kilos of it and still wanted more. Definitely worth tracking down when you're at the Tokyo Disney parks. It comes in 3 flavours: chocolate, custard and strawberry. After wandering around the park and buying some souvenirs and gifts, we ended up back at Toy Story Mania. Now the line had progressed down to about 45 minutes, so we decided to line up. I must say this was probably my favourite line ride through DisneySea. Really well designed, really engaging. The artwork, the design, all the details of the toys whilst you were waiting looked really cool, and was on par with the Mario Kart ride at USJ in that you didn't feel bored while you're waiting for the ride. Apart from Sinbad, this was probably my favourite ride all day. By the time we got out of Toy Story Mania, we decided it was probably time to start scoping out a place to sit for the fireworks. We'd read somewhere online that the best place would be somewhere near the lighthouse because you'd get a clear view and not many people go there. Yeah, you do get a bit of a view, but you aren't going to get the full show. And we should have realised that because as soon as the show started, you could kind of see things, but you couldn't really see things. So there's a tip: don't go to the lighthouse if you want to see the full fireworks show. All in all, we had an absolutely wonderful day at Tokyo DisneySea. We were 2 weeks into our 3-week trip and both of us were a little bit of the walking wounded. So it was nice to have a day that was a little bit more chilled out and we could relax and sit a bit and do a bit of people watching, do a bit of going on rides, you know, all the sort of fun theme park stuff that we can't really do in Tasmania because we don't have them here. We have to go to Queensland. We are hoping to go to Tokyo Disneyland sometime soon, hopefully towards the end of this year, fingers crossed if all goes to plan. Fantasy Springs is opening in DisneySea later this year as well, so we may look at, depending on our time, trying to get a half day pass to try and sneak in there and have a look around and see what it looks like compared to the rest of the park. If you've gotten this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.